right, welcome one and all to Betting Weekly Tennis Live on this beautiful Wednesday, all on the Bet Rivers Network. Our socials are Because We Win. Follow us on X, Instagram, and YouTube, where we just passed the 10,000 subscribers threshold. It's a great time of the year because we've got action at the All England Club. Quarterfinals are wrapping up. Just one match in play before we're set for the Final Four on each side. Mitch Michals, your host, alongside betting handicapper, tennis extraordinaire Tim Dennis. Tim, welcome to the program. It's very exciting. I know we got one match in play only now, but some good matchups so far to start us off here.
Yeah, hi Mitch. Nice to see you. Firstly, I just congratulate everyone on the BetRivers Network for reaching that 10,000 subscribers. That's a massive achievement for everyone on the channel. So yeah, really, really great day for everyone there. But as far as the tennis goes, we've just seen Sinner finish off that match against Shelton in straight sets. The elbow that a lot of people I think were worried about today, him wearing that sleeve, didn't seem to cause him any trouble there, and a solid victory. And I'm sure he'll be delighted to get through in straight sets if there is any hint of an injury, but it didn't appear to it from what I saw.
Yeah, that was something. I want to get into that. Just one note, the live match is Djokovic and Cobolli. Djokovic just took the second set 6-2 after dropping the first set 6-7. In that tie break, it was a tight tie break that Cobolli won. So he's a huge favorite, minus 1430 on the money line. Cobolli is plus 700. We're going to get into that as we go along here with the only match being in play. But yeah, Tim, that's kind of the story right now, is that Sinner, maybe much ado about nothing, maybe just not sure what we were going to see. The line started dropping steadily throughout all yesterday as reports and maybe worries got out. We weren't sure about Sinner's elbow, and it was him handling business. He was untouchable on his serve. That's the first thing to note. And, you know, like any match when there's an underdog, right? That first set, especially if it's a tiebreaker, you kind of have to have it to just give yourself any chance. Shelton, had the mini break up, lost the next point, double faulted. And that was really the doom for this match. It's funny, right? Because it's a straight set match. Sinner comfortably won. But that could have been different if that first set tiebreaker and just a couple points went the other way.
Yeah, you've got them sort of heavy minus money shots like Sinner was there. If you're that Shelton side of the coin, you've really got to take that first set, and then you might be able to take your chances later. But once that first set's done, it's almost, you kind of know which way the game's going to go. Sinner just he's like you said, served brilliantly. He knows he's going to hold his own deal. And if he can just get the odd point here or there, I think he went from, like you said, the mini break up in the tie break to, I think Sinner won maybe 4 of the next 5 points, 2 of them on Shelton serve, and then it was just, like you say, but I guess that's the elite level, and that's what those guys do, isn't it? They hold their own brilliantly, and then they take the chances when they get them, and that's what he did today. And Shelton was a clear second best, as many thought he would be.
And I kind of felt too, hindsight's 2020, obviously. But if Sinner does have some issues, like, he practiced indoors, he wore the sleeve, they were just being precautionary, which obviously there's still 2 matches to go against some quality opponents, we think. But I think this matchup might have been a good one in a weird way, Tim, because it wasn't extended rallies. Like, obviously Shelton serves as good as anyone in tennis, but I think in a weird way, especially now getting through in straight sets, not playing extended rallies and really physical long tennis might be the best thing for him, given his health and where we are with the elbow.
Yeah, definitely. If he comes across Alcaraz later in the tournament, then he's going to have those longer extended rallies like they did at the French, and I guess you'll really see whether there's any issue there with the elbow, because if there is, Alcaraz is the kind of guy who's going to find him out. And like you just reiterated, to playing someone like Shelton is probably a little bit up his street. There's going to be very few and far between rallies that are going to be, I don't know, eight shots or longer probably. And you're going to fancy him to get the better of those anyway if he's fit. And I think the majority of those he did today. So Alcaraz will probably test it out again if he gets that far. But time will tell. And Djokovic too, if Djokovic can come through here.
Yeah, and just another note too, right? They've played every time. It's been a tiebreak in every one of their matches. So something to consider when you're looking to bet on that match is there's always been a tiebreak in a Sinner-Shelton match. Djokovic gets the early break in set 3, so he is full steam ahead after dropping that first set. Huge money line odds on that one for him. But yeah, I wanted to, with the only live match in play being this matchup, Tim, is there any angle in play, any advice you'd have right now? Looking at the over/under games is 40, and I'm looking at 40.5. Over is plus 138. There's different ways you can bet this game in set spread. You can get Cobolli at plus 9.5 or minus 143, but Any live angles or anything you'd look at if you were going to dip your toe into this match live, Djokovic and Cobolli?
Yeah, probably the game lines. I mean, over 39.5 I think is plus 125 just to play there. So what have we got? We've got 19, 21, 21 and
Yeah, 6 straight games on the trot for Djokovic.
yeah,
so he's won the last 6.
Yeah, I mean, that looks tight. Djokovic is obviously clearly got a read in his serve there, taking that second set. And I mean, this match almost looks fairly similar to the way the de Minaur game went the other day, doesn't it? Even though de Minaur won that first set much easier than Cobolli just has. We all know what Djokovic is like when he gets going. So, I mean, under 39.5 is now his heavy minus money at minus 162.
Will there be over 8.5 in set 3? Is plus 140. So they're not, I mean, this is priced like this is going to be more one-way traffic in this set. It's still just the one break, but Djokovic is clearly buzzing right now, and Cobolli who played great in the first set, kind of come back down to earth.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the 8.5 in the first set. I mean, if Cobolli can hold his serve and Sinner wrap it up 6-4, then you'll obviously cash there. But Djokovic, like we just reiterated, it looks to have a read on that serve now. And I think as soon as he's getting into the points, I'm assuming he's probably heavy minus money to win the majority of points there now as soon as he gets that first serve back. And yeah, I would be looking at unders here rather than overs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that line, you probably want to move that line from 39.5 because that's minus 180 in running now. So yeah,
it's crazy.
If you can, maybe I think you scroll it down to under 38.5 is plus money. So 7, you're going to need. I mean, if he wins the set 6-2, 19.
Well, he's looking to reach the Wimbledon semis for the 14th time. I mean, I'm laughing. I'm just giggling at how crazy that is. But yeah, and no one knows, as this comment from our guy Duncan says, I mean, nobody knows best of 5 tennis like this guy. He can lose a set. He can kind of regain his bearings. He knows it's a marathon. He can tactically navigate. And as you said, Tim, picking up his serve. Not any free points, just a methodical approach from Novak. But what else is new?
Yeah, I also like Duncan's comment on Sinner has got previous when it comes to making out he's injured when there's nothing wrong with him, because this is an interesting one that crossed my mind actually, because obviously Sinner didn't practice yesterday. He practiced indoors away from everyone. You do just wonder whether that's a little bit of a mind game thing where if he knows if he does do that, people will be talking about that elbow being injured, and he comes out with a sleeve there today. And that it could just merely be a complete tactic that his elbow's completely fine, but he's clearly practiced, but he's practiced away. But he just put that seed of doubt into other people's mind that you are injured. And Novak's done that a few times this week, hasn't he, with his stretching and his stomach issues. So that's a very interesting point, that isn't it? Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the case either.
Well, the women's matches today were another, exemplary performances of tennis. We had one favorite win, one upset win. The favorite was Iga Swiatek. Of all the people to be at this Final Four stage, maybe she's the most shocking, given that has not won a title, as we know, since Roland Garros last year. Made her first final on grass just a little bit ago at Bad Homburg, and now, Tim, she's into the semifinals at Wimbledon. She beats Samsonova, who she is now 5-0 perfect against. It was a dominant first set. It was trending that way in the second. Samsonova pushed, but Iga at the end. Talk about reading serves, especially on match point, obviously, but Iga looking comfortable on grass. Tactically looks like she's adapting a lot of Wimbledon sets, new strategies, and she's confident. And we know one thing, regardless of surface, Tim, when Iga's confident, she's a different beast on the court.
Yeah, she is. I was a little bit disappointed Samsonova didn't try to switch things up a little bit. There wasn't much slicing of the backhand. She played the odd drop shot, but not much. And I thought if she'd take the pace off the ball a little bit more, she would have had a better chance. But she still had the odd opportunity here and there in the second set, but she didn't really take him. Iga's level did drop a little bit in that second set, but she was still strong enough to come through. But I'm looking forward to seeing Bencic play her tomorrow, because I think as we saw her there beating Andreeva, she will take the pace off the ball. I think she was chucking in some 70-odd mile-an-hour serves, which might be a little bit of a worry against Iga because we know what she can do on return. But I think if she gets into the season and then takes pace off the ball, then that could be a good tactic to use.
Yeah, it very well could be. Bencic beating Andreeva. Maybe not the biggest stunner, given that we know Belinda Bencic has been a seasoned pro for a while, has her child, takes time off, comes back a lot quicker than most, grinds her way to this point. just missed that seeded range. So when you look at her as an unseeded semifinalist, it's a little misleading because she's clearly been around the block for a while. But I just love tactically how she approached this match with a clear game plan. Bringing Andreeva into net a lot where she was comfortable, but maybe not fully comfortable, and figuring out how to outfox and outcraft her on the court, especially in that tie break. We saw it time and time again. Belinda Bencic, Tim, a really impressive story, and really showing you that perseverance on the court can encompass a lot of different things. I was very impressed with how she played today, and think she can still definitely keep it going against Iga.
Yeah, I mean, in the match with Andreeva today, obviously 2 tight sets, both tie breaks, but she was the better player on the stats. I think she won the service points, won return points, won 107 to 93. So she was on those stats clearly the better of the player of the two, and I think she deserved to go through. I guess like you said, when she's obviously had the child, took the time off. I guess maybe people like maybe Osaka kind of looks at that and thinks, do you know what, if she can do it, then I might need to up my level, because she's probably, she's won a challenger event, isn't it? But on the whole, she's probably been a bit disappointing when you look at someone like what Bencic is doing. She was also excellent on the hard courts at the start of the year out in the Arab states, and it's not a huge surprise doing what she's doing, even though she's unseeded, and that's a little bit misleading, as we know.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest lead up to grass and even clay, but yeah, Indian Wells quarterfinalist, played a great match against Madison Keys. And I feel like the lesson for players like Osaka coming off of the maternity leave is that it can come together pretty quickly. Like Bencic put the time in, but it wasn't like this steady path to success. It took a while, and she took advantage of her moments. But yeah, Andreeva, I think she'll have success here, Mirra, Tim. I do think that this was a step in the right direction, especially how Roland Garros ended. But there's still areas to improve, and there's still, like we know, getting used to the pressure as a teenager is going to be tough. I think she's well on her way, but it's going to take a little bit of time even for her.
Yeah, I mean, I keep forgetting, I don't know about you, that she's still only 18. I mean, she's basically a child, isn't she? So to be doing the stuff that she's doing is still super impressive, I think. And this is the best she's played on grass probably in her career, I would say. And she's going to be learning. I think a big asset she has. She has a great team around her. She's obviously got that real sort of motherly figure of a coach, and Conchita Martinez, good physios, good people around her, and you can only see her to going on to bigger and better things. And I assume it's probably a matter of time before she wins a Grand Slam.
Well, we got love 30 on the Djokovic serve. He's up 2-1. So we're seeing if Cobolli can get back into this set. But yeah, that was the one that stood out to me, was that 8.5 total games in the set, because now it's down to minus money. I feel like, I mean, I'm not speaking like going bold that I think Djokovic is going to win this set, Tim, but it's funny how the momentum swings happen. And I guess part of me too is looking at it like Novak is such a seasoned pro that I don't think he chases the second break, maybe knowing that there's another set of tennis to go. So that's kind of why it's kind of how Federer played back in the day, right? Like he just would get a break and then he's able to just consolidate on his serve and low energy, low stress.
Yeah, once they've got that first break, these players, they know 99 times out of 100 the way they're playing, they're going to hold their own deal.
Yeah.
And they don't need that second break, and they can just happily have the odd swing here. And if they don't break serve again, no issue. It wouldn't be at all surprised if he just goes through the 6-4. But he's going to need to hold his serve here. But you can imagine Cobolli probably holding it out. Be interesting here. The market, if Djokovic does hold serve and leads 3-1, that 6-4 might be interesting again. So we'll have to keep an eye on the odds for the over 9.5 in the game then. But that could be worth looking at.
Could certainly be here on Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Looking at some of the semifinal matches, we got both women's matches and we got one men's match. On the men's side, we do know it's going to be Taylor Fritz, the lone American man left, taking on Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz going for the three-peat at Wimbledon. Fritz making his first Wimbledon semifinal of his career, really an outstanding breakthrough. And as we look at this line, as we look at these lines, Tim, and we look at the opportunity to maybe get in on the action, of course, at Bet Rivers, Fritz is a 4-1 underdog. Alcaraz minus 590. The spread at 5.5 there you see, and the total games is at 37.5. You've got set betting options as well as many, many more on the Bet Rivers app, if you can go ahead and download that for sure. But Tim, I mean, part of it is Fritz is, been battle tested. He's worked his way through the draw. He's looking better than ever on grass, but man, does Alcaraz look good on this surface. The Norrie match was eye-opening, how he's just so good when it matters at this club, at the All England Club.
Yeah, he does have a habit of doing it. We spoke before about him playing his best tennis when it really matters. And I'm sure it didn't really matter against Cam Norrie, but he just sort of seemed to turn it on there, didn't he? I've been really impressed with Fritz, though. Obviously winning at Eastbourne and then coming here, he's had a really tough draw. Pechi Perigov first up, followed by probably one of the inform up and comers in Diallo. He's obviously beat Davidovich Fokina. He's probably quite fortunate with the almost walkover with Jordan Thompson, winning the first set and then coming through that. That would have been a relief to him with the amount of tennis he had under his belt. And even though he lost that third set against Kachanov yesterday, he was the dominant player in that MII. And just looking at, I had a quick look at the head-to-head. Obviously, Alcaraz is 2-0 up, and I think he's won all 4 sets. But one of those was in Laver Cup, so I think you can probably maybe discard that a fraction. But yeah, slight worry for Fitz. He's just 1 from 16 against sort of elite level players, Alcaraz, Sinner, and Djokovic. So just does show you the task he's got at hand, that sort of a next level up. But yeah, Fritz he's won over 80. Well, he's won 84.8% of his first serve points this tournament so far, which is a really good level. And the price that sort of stood out to me on that market was there. I think was the over 10.5 games in set 1 was a plus 170 chance. So I think if he can serve like he has been throughout this tournament, I thought plus 170 for over 10.5 in the first set was quite a nice way of looking at the match, because you can imagine Alcaraz just being too good come maybe even the first set and certainly come the end of it. But if he keeps serving as he has done, I thought that was a good way of looking at the match from a betting level.
Yeah, the question too is, can Fritz be competitive in the set market? You can get him for minus 165 to win 1 set if you call your shot, plus 235 Alcaraz wins in 4, plus 125 Alcaraz straight sets. And it's weird, right? Because going into the last match, it was a trendy bet, right? Cam Norrie win a set, Alcaraz is dump sets, but he turns it up, and that's the mark of a great player, right? You save your best for later in the tournament. I think that Fritz, obviously, like the game plan's clear in some areas, like he has to serve well, he has to shorten the points. He can't just dump his serve and give Alcaraz free looks at second serves. But I'm torn on this, Tim. I think the set market is one that I think a lot of people are going to attack, and I think Fritz can be competitive. His total games, I saw the number at 16.5. Are you expecting a competitive match throughout, maybe early? I know you lean like the first set, but how do you think Fritz will handle this occasion against the 2-time champ?
Well, I think that 16.5 could be interesting, because I think if he wins a set and that he's sort of quite heavy minus money to do that, as you said, then you'd like to think he'd probably cover that if he can keep up that first serve points 1 percentage. Because we all know, I mean, at this stage of the tournament, Alcaraz does ramp it up, but he still has those moments where he goes well, not missing for a set, but he does just drop his level fractionally. And as long as and Fritz can continue doing what he did. Obviously, I think Fritz dropped his level for 1 set yesterday against Kachanov, but on the whole, he was the far better player and served really well again in that match.
Yeah.
Did you say it was 16.5 total games? Yeah.
Minus 121 is over. If he wins 16.5 games, is minus 121.5 is minus 121. So if he gets to 17, you can cash that out there. Also, fun to note too, Tim. You can even, Bet Rivers has so many different bets. You can bet the over on match time. Had to do some math, but if it's over 2 hours and 51 minutes, it hits. So
yeah, I did see that, and I had a look at their sort of previous games, and I think Alcaraz has played a couple of 4-set matches so far, and even in the 4-set matches, he's been under that 2 hours 51 time. So I just thought that was probably about right, and a bit of a dangerous one to have to call either way. But yeah, an interesting market if you want to sort of sub market. But you'd imagine Fritz will be looking at this game similar to the way Shelton was the Sinner game. Just come out, try and hold his serve that strongly in that first set, and if he can get it to a tiebreak and take his chances in the tiebreak, then you never know. But I think he'll be looking for a strong start and strong first set.
And it's been the last 2 years he's played Medvedev in this round, so this is a different type of challenge for him. There'll be the early match on, given the extra day, or given the extra day in the schedule. So we kind of know what we're going to expect there. I wonder if the rest factor, Fritz playing some heavy tennis, will maybe recharge him. But yeah, should be exciting to see. We know the women's matches too, Tim, and that's, got lines for both of them. The one that we knew yesterday, it's going to be Aryna Sabalenka taking on the one American woman left, Amanda Anisimova. There you see the line. Sabalenka minus 275 to Anisimova's plus 210 on the money line. The game spread is a narrow 3.5, and the over-under is 21.5 games. Some set betting options as well if you so choose. These two have played a lot. Anisimova has beaten her a few times. Sabalenka's had the better recently, but I would expect a lot of hard hitting in this matchup between two of the most powerful clean ball strikers in the game. Sabalenka going into this match, going into really last match, Tim, is a prohibitive favorite in this tournament. But I wonder going forward if this is the toughest test she has last. And I wonder if you see this match as close or something that Sabalenka could handle easily.
Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky match for me because I'm backed into a bit of a corner because I'm on Sabalenka for the tournament, and I've already started backing Anisimova for the US Open. So if she goes and beats Sabalenka here and wins this Grand Slam, and I'm a little bit too early, then I'll look a bit silly. But I think for Sabalenka, she'll probably prefer playing Anisimova than she did that match she played yesterday against Siegman. That was just sort of taking the spin up, putting spin on the ball, taking the pace off it. Whereas we know Anisimova isn't going to do that. She's going to trade heavy baseline shots with Sabalenka, and a bit like they did in Paris. I think Anisimova leads the head-to-head 5-3, but Sabalenka's won 3 of the last 4, which is a quite interesting way of looking at it, including winning at the French, leading the service points, 109 to 91 that day. And the thing for me is this is their first meeting on grass, but just looking at their stats this week, Sabalenka's at 154 winners, which is sort of 20 more than Anisimova. But the interesting stat for me was Sabalenka's only had 116 unforced errors compared to 151 for Anisimova. So that's a real interesting stat, I thought, there. And contributing to that stat is Anisimova has made more double faults than anyone at the tournament, with 31 compared to just 12 from Sabalenka. So she's going to have to tidy that up a little bit. And we know how Sabalenka can be on that second serve. So whether she goes for a little bit more and risks that again, what do you want to take pace off it to get it in, knowing that Sabalenka can just do what she does? But I think it's going to be a really fascinating match that with two huge ball strikers. And I think that they'll both have their moments. If I was looking towards a bet, I thought it was really tough. And if I'd have a small lean on over 2.5 sets at plus money, plus 155, I think that was a bet Rivers. But they might both have their moments. We've seen both play out of this world tennis, and then both have their dips. So they might just tie that in with each other, and then that could lead to it going 3 sets. But it's a difficult match to call for me looking at, and I thought the Lions had it probably just about right. But a fascinating match for everyone to be looking forward to.
I can't wait for this one. Maybe as excited as I am in any semifinal match, depending on obviously Djokovic center. But Cobolli, as I say that, breaks back and is up 3-2 in set 3. So hope you got on 8.5 over so far. But regardless, Tim, I'm expecting a good one. Sabalenka has the weight of being the favorite, ever winning here, has a heartbreak in slams. Will this be the 3rd time she loses to an American in a major? It could possibly be. So there's pressure there. I'm with you. I'm expecting a competitive match. I think you can still get over 2.5 sets for plus money. I like that. I think Anisimova is live to win a set too in this matchup. I would pick Sabalenka though overall, and I think that if you really want to feel froggy, betting Sabalenka to win, and that's one of my favorite prop bets we have, win the match after losing the set. She's been pushed before. She's been showing that she has tremendous resolve. I think Amanda has to start fast, and she's proven that she can. So that'll be the other one, right? If Anisimova is going to take a set, Tim, I do think it's going to be the first one.
Yeah, could well be. What did you think about Sabalenka yesterday? Because I wasn't impressed with the way she played, but I was impressed the fact she won, because I thought for pretty much the majority of the 3rd set she was going to lose that match.
I was impressed she didn't capsize, like the boat didn't tip over and she didn't have a full meltdown, which we've seen in the past.
Yeah, because I think
it's hard though, right? It's hard, right? When like Laura Siegemund, certain players, Siegemund, Tatiana Maria, just coming to mind. Sevastova was like this. It's hard to read a bad day against them because their whole job is to frustrate you. Like would it shock you if Sabalenka came out, played lights out, was dominant tomorrow? No, because she's that type of player. That was a bad day at not a bad day because she won, but not her best day at the office against a player that is designed to frustrate you. But I was impressed that she kept her head on. It would have been so easy for her to have a complete meltdown, and she didn't. So that, to me, I'll take the positive side of it. That's growth for a player that would not have been able to handle that moment years ago.
Yeah, completely agree. Maybe even, I mean, some spoke about. I know she was asked a question about if it wasn't for the French Open semi-final, would she have won that? And she did even say, "Not certain that I would have won the game." And
Mhm.
she's learnt lessons. And
Mhm.
I think it was clear for all to see she was very close to the edge, and like you say, tipping over. It wouldn't have taken much more. When maybe one more drop shot, perhaps off a serve, might have just sent her. But yeah, full credit to her. She got it done. And again, it wouldn't surprise you at all if she comes out against a player who's going to suit her style tomorrow and just hit lights out tennis for line after line after line, and just looks unbeatable again. So a fascinating matchup,
Mhm.
and one that I think she'll be looking forward to a lot more than the game she played yesterday.
I kind of like Anisimova over 10.5 games minus 121. I think that's a responsible bet. You're not really going for too big. You can sprinkle some on the tiebreak prop at plus 175. But yeah, I mean, one-way traffic hasn't really been the case in their matchups in the past. And I do think the pressure, Sabalenka, the better player, more equipped, more weapons, all that. But you're playing at Wimbledon. You haven't won here before. We're going on 9 new champions or 9 different champions in a row. So I think we see tight matchups here. And Sabalenka, this has been the wall, right? This is where she's been denied year after year with
Yeah,
the
never
Pliskova
made the
match
final
and
yet.
on Jabeur, so could be tight. So we'll see.
Yeah, slight lean for that 2.5 sets, because Anisimova, she was excellent in that first set yesterday, and then she just had a little bit of a wobble. I think she saved 3 set points against
Mhm,
Pavlyuchenkova in an 11-9 second set tiebreak to
mhm.
come through, but her level did massively drop in that second set compared to, well, I say she dropped. She was good till 5-2, and then she was on the winning line, and then it did dip. So these could both have their moments tomorrow, and over 2.5 sets would be a little bit of a lean from the way I saw it, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, 3-all in Cobolli Djokovic. So that match goes over
Oh,
8.5. That
yeah,
set
yeah,
goes
not
over
bad.
8.5. In set three, we also have a lot going there too. Yeah, Djokovic, maybe not the best thing because we look like it's center Tim looked very good. So now he's gonna have to play a little more tennis. We'll see if it goes, how this third set goes. He's minus 770 on the money line, so that's dipped down. The spread now for total games is at 7.5 on Bet Rivers. The other semifinal match, we got fresh lines. It was the Bencic Iga Swiatek matchup. We know what that's going to be. And here it is now. Iga prohibitive favorite minus 335, Bencic plus 250. There you see the game spread. 4.5 is maybe a little higher than we thought, but set betting as well as your over under that 21.5 number. So we got Iga, Tim, as a solid favorite, but one thing Belinda Bencic has done this tournament is just take out favorite after favorite. So do you think this is accurately priced? Do you like Bencic to pull off the upset, or is Iga about to be in the Wimbledon final?
Yeah, none of us thought that sort of 10, 12 days ago, did we? But like she said, she's heavy minus money to do just that. These two have met 5 times. Eager leads that 4-1, winning their only match on grass that actually came here in 2023. The thing I found quite interesting in the two of those matches they've played, I think in their last 3 matches, this featured 4 tiebreaks. Um, and a tiebreak in the match is plus 245, and a
Mm,
set one tiebreak is plus 575. Obviously, Bencic had 2 more tiebreaks today as well. Egan not hugely associated with tiebreak matches, but in this head-to-head, that's obviously something she is associated with. Bencic beat Andreeva, like I said, 7-6, 7-6 earlier, but dominating that game, and she was a fully deserving winner. And I mean, you look at Iga, like we just said about that grass record. She's won 8 of her last 9 matches on grass, only losing that final to Pegula. She's beaten Paolini, Alexandrova, Collins, Towson, and obviously Samsonova today. So she's obviously on a roll,
yep.
and doing well. And Bencic, I mean, she's obviously done really well to get here, but she's had a fairly nice couple of games. I think she's beaten 2 players outside the top 100 so far this week. And
Yeah.
I think the average ranking of the player she's beaten is 62. So stepping up a level today, but obviously she beat the world number 7 in Andreeva. So she's going the right way, and it'll be a
Yeah.
fascinating contest. I'm just wondering whether she might Laura Siegman to Swiatek tomorrow
Yeah.
to do what Laura did, but to Sabalenka, but it'll be a fascinating matchup. And I thought the tie breaks might be quite interesting. Just the plus, sort of quite a big plus money shots. Whether you wanted to look at plus 245 in the match or be brave and go first set at a really big price.
Hey, you don't have to talk me into a tie break. Love that bet.
I'm
also
speaking to the right man.
You are. I also think, I mean, it has been 100% accuracy. Obviously, nothing is. But given these two players, if you look at this Wimbledon tournament, maybe you go over 9.5 games first set plus 112. Both of them. I know Iga had a quick first set today, but both of them have really had a few long sets, even sets they've lost, right? Iga loses to McNally. There's been some heavy physical sets. We saw Bencic 2 tie breaks. So maybe that's the play, right? Again, it's my settling in theory. First match, Wimbledon semi, some jitters. Maybe that's where it is. And Mandeep brings up a good point, right? Like, how is the non-day off going to affect each player? Could be good. You have no time to think. You just get right back to it. They both won in straight sets, or is there going to be some fatigue for players like Bencic's case, who hasn't been here before?
Perhaps. I mean, these women are fairly used to playing back-to-back days, aren't they? I know they don't do it in slams, and this is a little bit of a turnaround for them. They're playing the back-to-back day, but I think in all of their other tournaments, bar perhaps the odd 10-day, maybe even 2-week Masters, thousands events, they might play every other. But I think they're well used to the playing back-to-back days. I'd be surprised if that was an issue. I know she had she actually won the match, but she did call for the trainer after that set if she didn't win it. But I think she's just said it might have been a cracked toenail that they get all the time. She said. Whether she's telling the truth or not, we'll have to take her on her word. But if we believe her at what she says, then that shouldn't be an issue.
I'm just laughing. Djokovic just threw his racket 30 feet in the air. Didn't hit anybody, but came right back down. So that's where we are in that match. 4-3 up. Cobolli leading. So maybe some frustration, but sometimes he plays better. And yeah, just a note on the women's side right now. Here's your outright prices. I don't know, Tim, we haven't really talked about this. We got Sabalenka obviously as a clear favorite, Iga moving up. But do you like to dabble in this? Like dabble in this when we get to the semifinals and we know? Do you like to throw any futures? I know we still have 2 matches to go, but is there any value on that board or any betting on outrights you like at this point?
We're just looking at that board there. I think if I hadn't had a bet so far in this tournament, I'd be looking at Anisimova there at plus 600. If she beats Sabalenka tomorrow, which many think she will, that's going to be probably, I think if Iga gets through, she's probably going to be maybe plus 175 against Iga perhaps. And she'll probably be favourite against Bencic. So if I hadn't had a bet on the outrights and I was looking to do somebody, that's probably where I'd be going tomorrow for my outright bet, just on a value play, because the price is obviously going to collapse if she beats Sabalenka, which many people think the way she's played so far this week, she has a solid chance of doing.
Yeah, Iga winning probably wouldn't be the best given your positions, if I have that right.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Iga we'll fix it all up if she does win. But if you haven't guessed already, Iga winning will not be great for this household, should we say?
No. Do you think that, I mean, each matchup tomorrow, let's say the favorite drops down, loses the first set, is that a position where you'd be advising, okay, get on the money line of that favorite? Like if Sabalenka and Iga drop the first set, is that one where you're looking to see what that price is and maybe bet on them to win?
I think certainly in that Sabalenka match, having watched Anisimova get pretty much to the winning line yesterday, and obviously she won that second set, but she had to save 3 set points from being 5-2 up in it. So if Anisimova was to win that first set tomorrow, and Sabalenka, it'd be interesting to see what price she hit. Whether she it might be a pick 'em if Anisimova wins that first set, but that's the kind of point in that match I'll be looking to get with Sabalenka. But just because I know Anisimova, obviously she hasn't made a Grand Slam final. This is as far as she's got. She certainly could get tight, as we saw her do yesterday. So I think if Anisimova did take that first set yesterday, I'd definitely be looking to get with Sabalenka again.
And on the men's side, we know we have one match still going on serve midway through or deep into the third set with Djokovic and Cobolli, but it's Alcaraz minus 143 future outright, Sinner plus 200. Djokovic at 350, Cobolli's 5,000. Obviously, that match still going, and then Fritz is plus 1,600. So, any men's future angle you would be pursuing right now?
I think minus 143 Alcaraz is probably about right. I mean, considering if Djokovic does come through here, you think you'd rather be playing Fritz than Sinner in a semi-final for Alcaraz. So we all know since pretty much the draw's been done, Alcaraz has had the better side of it and has come through. Apart from his first match where he looked a little bit shaky, he's been by far the best player, and he's come through pretty much unscathed. So yeah, I think the market has that just about right. And if you're on him at plus money, you're probably sitting fairly comfortably as far as that goes, I would guess.
Yeah, makes total sense. Betting Weekly Tennis Live, wrapping up this show with Djokovic and Cobolli still in action. And as always, you can check out the Betting Weekly Studios newsletter. A lot of great stuff in here, not just tennis. We've got soccer. We've got other sports. Go to bettingweeklystudios.com. It drops on Mondays. And if you're an insider, you get that info on Friday too. So it's a lot of great content at the newsletter. Tim, this has been a great show. My last question for you. Assuming that what we think happens and what the odds markets think happens, and Djokovic wins, how is that Sinner match going to be priced, and what would your angle be on a Djokovic Sinner, another semifinal at a major?
Well, there's a good question. How is that going to be priced? Well, you put me on the spot here. What are we going to think Sinner is there tomorrow to beat Djokovic? Friday even. You probably think minus 200 Sinner.
I think so. It's
50 Djokovic.
It's interesting too, right? Because if I asked you this question, I don't know 10 hours ago, we might be thinking a little tighter. But Sinner looks great, and Djokovic 4-all in the third set, not his best. So I think it has to be 2-1, given track record, given form, and given age. I hate to say it, but given youthful experience versus 38-year-old guy still trying to find his A level.
Again, and from what Sinner did look impressive today, didn't he? Every time there was a little bit of a moment for Shelton, that was quickly written off by Sinner. And I mean, the big thing for Djokovic, it'll be interesting to see how long this game goes. I mean, if Cobolli takes this set and Djokovic even does get it on in 5, that's not going to be ideal for him. And you probably think if that is a line minus 200, that would probably be a fraction shorter without him having to play 5 if he does. So a lot of ifs and buts still. But the Sinner looks, I would guess, I'd probably look about plus 200 minus 200, and then maybe plus 165, 170 Djokovic, I would guess.
Can't wait. We got great matchups to finish the 2025 Wimbledon Championships. This has been a great show. Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Again, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday throughout the year, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Tim Dennis, this was fun, man. Always a blast talking tennis, and best of luck on your positions, I'll say. But I hope that what you want.
I might need it, by the looks of it, but we'll see. Thank you very much. Cheers, Mitch.
We'll be back. We will be back next Monday on Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Make sure you follow the social channels at Because We Win. Download the Bet Rivers Network to make all your bets on tennis and other sports, and keep following Because We Win and all the outstanding shows we have on this network covering a variety of sports. So for Tim Dennis, my name is Mitch Michals. This was Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy Wimbledon.